the most powerful aircraft helicopter carrier fleets in the world is that of the United States. With a big difference with the rest of the countries, as we know from other videos in the series dedicated to these large ships. Recall that, with this type of ships, the key military concept of strategic projection can be developed. The U.S. Navy uses its carrier strike groups, based on an aircraft carrier and an aeronaval force, to develop such strategic projection in various parts of the world. We know, from the previous videos of the series, that two types of aircraft groups are organized around these two types of ships. First is the attack carrier group, with the combat settings we see on the screen. And the second is the expeditionary group of attack, centered on a ship of type LHA, LHD, or LHP. On this website, we can know your situation, where we see that there are 3 attack groups, and 3 other active expeditionary groups. The number of vessels of these characteristics may seem excessive, but this is based on the following needs projection. Using the type of AC or aircraft carrier ships, the United States usually maintains the following distribution. There are 3 aircraft carriers, deployed in various areas of the planet: Pacific, Atlantic, and Mediterranean or Arabian Sea. There are 9 other aircraft carriers, in various situations. 3 aircraft carriers, that are returning to port, from their deployment zones. 3 aircraft carriers in port, in maintenance tasks. 3 aircraft carriers in port, ready to begin deployment. There are 1 aircraft carrier, in which the midlife review is being carried out. And currently, another 4 aircraft carriers, are under construction or planned. That is, for each aircraft carrier deployed, the United States needs another 3 aircraft carriers, at different levels of readiness for future deployment. Currently, only France and Japan, which have 4 Type AC or LHD vessels in their fleets, could be able to maintain a similar level of military projection. That is, countries with less than 4 Type AC, or LHD, or LHA vessels, will have difficulties in maintaining a sustained strategic projection. In the case of aircraft carriers, the embarked Air Force or Air Wing is called CVW, Carrier Air Wing. Currently, this is the fleet of aircraft carriers of the United States. Nuclear aircraft carriers, Gerald R. Ford class, will replace, one by one, the oldest aircraft of the Nimitz class. and a CVW, is formed from 8 to 10 squadrons of airplanes and helicopters. In these last 20 years, the diversity and variety of aircraft in an aircraft carrier has been progressively decreasing. This is because, increasingly, a few types of airplanes and helicopters are capable of performing multiple types of different missions. Let's start by describing what are the main missions that an aircraft carrier squadrons must perform. VFA designates strike and attack missions that can be basically of two types. CAP, Combat Air Patrol. They allow to offer air safety over critical areas with the aim of destroying enemy aircraft. CAS, Close Air Support. They allow to offer support of near fire and earth to reinforce the tactical movements of the own forces. VAQ designates combat missions for the suppression of electronic countermeasures and destruction of enemy radar systems.
Enemy! Static weapon, grid 051034.
ASW designates anti-submarine warfare missions. Actions carried out by airplanes against any surface or submarine means. EEW, designate early warning missions. In addition, they are command and air control centers for the various missions carried out with the aircraft carrier's air means. VAR designates flight refueling missions. VRC designates logistics and supply missions to the aircraft carrier. HSC designates submarine and surface detection and attack missions for helicopters.